Hey everybody, this is Gons. You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk episode 196. Before we jump into the episode, I do want to apologize because we pride ourselves here on making the RSS feed of the podcast as crisp and clean as possible. Basil and I usually record our own voices on our own machines and we put it together for the RSS feed, but unfortunately for this episode, we had a little technical difficulty that prevented us from having that really clean audio. Instead, we're going to have to publish the live stream audio, which is not as good, but hopefully it's still audible and you guys can understand what's going on. We truly appreciate all the support over the years so that we can continue to report the news to you and bring it at you from a biblical worldview, or at least two guys that have a biblical worldview, and of course, our own thoughts and opinions based on biblical prophecy and eschatology and everything else. All right, without further ado, the less than good quality audio version of Canary Cry News Talk episode 196. Here we go.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is May 12th, 2020, episode 196, and this week, 6666 Tracing Church, and my name's Basil.
And this is Gons. We're making up for the missed live stream yesterday, but thank you guys for being here. We're live on Face Like the Sun. We're live on Canary Cry Radio, YouTube, Twitch, D Live, Facebook, Periscope, Twitter. Glad to be here. It's a little early today, but hey, you know, we're making up for
I know.
yesterday.
This might be the earliest show we've done in a while, which is perfect timing because I think people around the country are starting to get back to work.
Yeah.
So, you know, they can tune in while they're at their jobs like normal functioning human beings.
Don't get in trouble.
But we're here. We're making it happen. Yeah, getting it if you're streaming it at work while you're on duty, the perfect situation is for you to get in trouble. Your boss comes up and says, "What are you doing?" And you say, "Boss, you gotta see this. It's the most important thing you've ever seen in your life." And just rattle his cage. Get him on board. There you go. Or her. Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, most of my bosses have been women, so I'm used to it. Okay, so Gons, anything else you want to chat about before we get right into the show?
Well, before we get going, I do want to give a shout out to Caleb, who's a 15-year-old listener, and we got a message from Caleb's dad. And basically, you know, we get a little bit of criticism for the googly eyes and the silliness, and you guys laugh too much. It's serious information, and yeah, it's serious stuff. But you know, there's a couple options, right? You can get really angry. We can live stream just being angry, breaking stuff about everything going on. You can get very upset. You can cry. You know, you can mourn about the situation, or you can laugh about it. Yeah. And I think laughing is something to, you know, it's a way to cope with all this nonsense going on. So, you know, it's a good way to do it. And the fact that we're trying to keep it a little more lighthearted, at least on this show, is to actually try to reach younger people. And case in point, Caleb is listening,
working.
and Caleb's dad was appreciative because he wanted to talk to his kids or talk to Caleb about some of these issues, but it's kind of hard if you're a parent. I can understand, you know, I get the rolly eyes when I start talking New World Order with my stepdaughter sometimes, and you know, if there's a show that can bridge the gap, then you're welcome. We're here to do it. So
there we go.
Yeah, shout out to Caleb.
So big shout out to Caleb. Thanks for listening, buddy. And keep listening. We're going to keep doing what we do. And yeah, you know, people out there, some people prefer a show where the hosts are sort of making things sound more scary and yelling and some tears and stuff. And that's cool. I mean, if that's what you're looking for, those shows are out there. Trust me, you can find them. And I won't be hurt if you don't, if you don't like us not crying. But here we go. So let's get into it here, Gons. Again, you know, the flippy news is not keeping up. I guess we got a bunch of quick updates here.
Yeah,
There's a
we got
lot
some
of
quick
things to
updates.
mention.
Just stuff
You want
to
to just
mention.
go run through your mention list?
Yeah, Obamagate, hashtag Obamagate is going crazy on the Twitters for the
Uh-huh.
last couple days. And in the description section, Basil's audio is compressed a little bit.
I saw that.
Yeah, let me try to fix that too. But yeah, Obamagate, it's it's just going crazy. I left a thread of somebody that actually outlined a pretty good sort of summary of several things that Obama has done that warrants a little criticism, not the least of which is allegedly spying on Trump during the campaign, which is unprecedented if you ask me in terms of a transition of power. But I wanted to mention it just because everyone's talking about it. It's trending. It's going crazy. And yeah, Obamagate. What do you think, Basil? Hashtag Obamagate.
Yeah, I don't know. This is one of those things that, I got to talk about something because a lot of times something will start happening. And especially since we do 3 shows a day, people want us to
A week.
immediately, a week. They want us to immediately, weigh in and analyze it and give our take on things. And the fact of the matter is that a lot of things, you kind of got to let them play out a little bit before you start spouting off on them because things can change so quickly. So I think we're going to talk more about Obamagate. There's a lot of people already doing that. And so I think we should sit back, see how things develop, and then actually put out, our stance or our analysis when there's actually more to talk about, and let it sort of work through the system a little bit before we get to it. That's just my personal feelings about it, because Obamagate, I mean, this is like a 4-year-old thing going on that just happens to be catching the media wave again. So
Yeah.
Those are my thoughts.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, I mean, again,
We'll get to it.
We'll get to it eventually in more
get to it
detail in
eventually.
terms of covering, specific things. But, we don't really do politics on this show unless it kind of overlaps with things we talk about normally. But I do want to mention it because I had never seen anything trend, 3+ million tweets, and then you refresh and it's down to 2.7, and then it's back up to 3.3. I mean, it was just crazy how they're trying to control it
lots
too.
of censoring.
Yeah, there was like Obamagate, like a misspelling of Obamagate. They're trying to trend,
Right.
and it was just interesting to watch the flurry of both sides. And I had never seen the conservative right wing type of folk overtake my timeline in a hashtag like that. So kind of interesting.
You mean the Russians?
the Russian bots taking
the Russian
over?
bots?
Yeah, and also real quick update here. Yesterday was the Bitcoin halving for anybody who knows about Bitcoin. So of course,
Bitcoin go to moon.
it was the third Bitcoin halving, which means only 6.25 Bitcoin now issued per block. And just as a reference, I tweeted this out just so people understand, or at least have a kind of an understanding, or at least a historical view of this. In 2012, the first halving took place, and the price of Bitcoin was $12. And during that cycle, it peaked at $1,150. In 2016, the Bitcoin halving the price was $650, and in that cycle, it peaked at almost $20,000. And so now in 2020, the price of Bitcoin was around $8,600, and the peak in this cycle to be determined. And but Basil, you know what? We don't make predictions on this show, but just for fun, what do you think the peak is going to be in this cycle
To
here?
the moon, baby.
Bitcoin go
I don't know.
to moon.
Let's look at the it's got kind of an exponential curve to it. So let's see, call it 20 times. I'll say we'll go 20 times. So we'll go
$400,000 or 20 times 8,000.
That would be like 160,000.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I'll put it there. I'll put my cap at 160,000.
Okay. All right. I was going to do somewhere around there too. So
I win.
I will go. All right.
You're gonna prices right me 161,000, $160,001.
and 1 cent. You know what? I'll go big. I'll say 200,000. That'll be my non-official.
I think that's a pretty good guess too.
Okay, cool. Let's move on because we don't want to get in trouble here. Also, real quick mention: there was a documentary by Craig Sawyer that was published yesterday. Oh, it's going to start playing. It's called Contraland, and it basically, he's exposing the child trafficking thing, and he shows the busts. It's a really good documentary in terms of just real life people on the ground, busting people, and it was really disturbing to see just normal people like people that work, that have families, that drop off their kids and then they try to solicit minors and stuff. Not cool stuff, but kind of an eye-opening thing. Yeah, it's disturbing, but it's eye-opening. I do recommend it. Again, links in the description for anyone interested to check that out. And one more thing before we get into it. Professor John C. Lennox, he's one of the top Christian apologists out there. He debated Richard Dawkins. I thought he destroyed his arguments. He wrote a book called 2084, and you can pre-order it. And a Christian perspective on humanity's future. Scientist and philosopher John Lennox will introduce you to a kaleidoscope of ideas, the key developments in technological enhancement, bioengineering, and in particular artificial intelligence. Discover the current capacity of AI, its advantages and disadvantages, the facts and the fiction, as well as future implications. And John Lennox was a guy who looked at Revelation 13 and the image of the beast and the stuff we talk about, the stuff I mention all the time on the channel, at least on Face Like the Sun. And he basically affirmed a lot of those concerns. Like, this is a legit concern that people are bringing up on the fringes. So I appreciated that. And you can tell he's got the little, I think that's like the CERN thing on the cover there. I don't know. Maybe it's an artificial eye or something. But, just wanted to mention 2084. You can pre-order it now. I'm not getting paid to advertise or anything like that, but it's just a Christian apologist out there talking technology, talking AI. So that's out there. So those are my quick updates before we jump in.
There we go. We got your quick updates. We need a quick update jingle.
Yeah.
Chat is very positive today. I'm enjoying the chat. Good job, everybody. Everybody's being very nice and talking Bitcoin. We had one estimate for a cap of 42,000. So there we go. We're just putting it on the book.
Okay.
So if it's 42, that listener wins.
Yep.
Okay, Gons. Let's jump right in. Let's get some COVID stuff out of the way. What do you say?
COVID.
This is a quick one from cnsnews.com. The right news right now. I think they're trying to push a very right-wing outlet here, but here we go. New York Mayor de Blasio threatens to permanently shut churches that persist in holding services. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio is threatening to permanently close the meeting places of religious organizations that persist in holding services while the city is shut down during the COVID-19 pandemic. Quote, a small number of religious communities, specific churches, specific synagogues are unfortunately not paying attention to the guidance, even though it's been so widespread. I don't think it's they're not paying attention to it. I think they're just not listening to you, Bill. Quote, so I want to say to all those who are preparing the potential of religious services this weekend, again, weird, preparing the potential. If you go to your synagogue, if you go to your church and attempt to hold services after having been told often not to, our enforcement agents will have no choice but to shut down those services, he said. Yeah. De Blasio does not belong to any religious denomination. In a question and answer session on Reddit 6 years ago, he said, quote, although my mother was raised a Catholic, she did not bring me up in the church. I consider myself a spiritual person, but unaffiliated. Yeah. And I was definitely very influenced by the liberation theology movement in Latin America. And boy, am I a fan of Pope Francis.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
That seems kind of silly.
That's-
We got to make sure this is not a satirical website.
It does sound ridiculous.
We're going to get in trouble. Why don't you search for the satirical bookmark there and see if this is in there, and I'll continue. In his briefing on Friday, de Blasio said he would be deploying the city's police, fire, and buildings departments to make sure religious services did not take place in the city. If congregations did not discontinue holding services in buildings within the city once they had been warned, his government would be, quote, potentially closing the building permanently. A vast majority of houses of worship have stopped their traditional worship service, de Blasio said. If they could, they went online, they went on the radio, whatever they could do, but they've stopped gathering people, understanding the nature of the crisis. Continuing the quote, no faith tradition endorses anything that endangers the members of that faith. That's a questionable remark.
Sure.
So the NYPD, fire department, buildings department, and everyone has been instructed that if they see worship services going on, they will go to the officials of that congregation. They'll inform them they need to stop the services and disperse. If that does not happen, they will take additional action up to the point of fines and potentially closing the building permanently. Blah, blah, blah. He says, again, this will start this weekend. So there you go, Gons. I think this is a ripe time for underground black market churches.
Well, there was a secret meeting of the minds several years ago of some of the top Christian apologists, and they reported, or at least someone that was there that I spoke to, said that they felt, this is back like in the early 2000s, that the church eventually is going to go underground. It's going to become a remnant church. There's not going to be this, institutional church that the corporate kind of worship that we're used to in the public. And, to be honest, I feel like that's been going on for a long time. I guess in America, it just doesn't seem like it because we have our big, commercial Christianity. But of course, that's been chipped away for a long time and compromised in so many ways with televangelists and things like that. So, not surprising, but of course this accelerates all of that, and it's quite troubling that they would target churches, But I've seen pastors mention how certain places with, that sell alcohol is, they're considered, what is it? What's the word that they use?
Essential businesses.
Yeah, essential, yeah. But churches aren't, which is, of course, a sort of a ridiculous thing. But,
Well, and we've talked about recently, there's been a lot of church leaders that I know personally that I will be talking to, and some of them listen to this show, and they mention that, the whole church model that we're so used to right now is on the brink and has been on the brink for a while.
Yeah.
People have been feeling that this whole, sort of corporate church model, which, was needed for a time and people just doing their best to figure out how to do church. It's not sustainable in the current, because if you set up a church like a corporation, you need to accomplish the same things a corporation does, which is yearly growth.
Yeah.
And which then becomes the reason why churches focus so much on, how can we keep getting more people in the building? We need the lights. We need the fog machines. Okay, that didn't work. Now we need, bicycles, stationary bicycles that people can exercise. So they combine their gym and their church time. And I just made that up, but that sounds awesome if anybody wants to do that. So the model of the church, modern church, requires, in sometimes exponential growth every year, which is just unsustainable for a church, for a body of believers to be focusing on that instead of the things they got to focus on. So this underground, if not specifically underground, then, just different way of operating church has been coming for a while. So
like the Book of Acts style, home churches getting together with your local
churches.
community.
People
and families.
love the home church idea. So there you go.
Real quick, Light Music. I think Light Music. Thank you for your super chat. God bless you guys in Jesus' name. And also PS4 Armory. Thank you for your super chat. So there you go.
Thanks for the super chats, y'all.
Yeah.
And just as a little Twitch update, thank you everybody for coming in who's watching Twitch. We'll be giving shout outs a little later in the show. But we did make affiliate on Twitch a while back.
Oh, we did.
But there are some problems with that we're having activating our affiliateship. We're still trying to make it to partner, show them that we're worth it, to give us all those cool tools to support ourselves. But people been asking, yeah, why they can't give bits and all that sort of fun stuff on Twitch. I'm currently in a heated exchange with Twitch tech support, trying to figure out how to do that.
Ooh.
All right, so
Okay.
it's coming.
All right.
Next story. What do you think?
Next story.
It's gotta be biblical.
Along the same lines here, this is Boston.com. Worcester pastor could face criminal action over continuing to hold services. And the article states, the pastor of a Worcester, am I saying that right? Worcester? Or Worcester?
Worcester?
It's not
I think it's
Chester because it's not
Worcester.
CH. Worcester?
No, I know, but it's a long-standing debate. It's Worcester,
Okay.
like Worcester
Okay, it is a
sauce.
debate. All right. At least I'm not like, okay. Anyway, the pastor of a Worcester church that has continued to violate government Charlie Baker's order not to hold gatherings with more than 10 people will be issued a $500 fine and could be facing criminal action. City authorities say the new $500 fine to the Rev. Chris Casey comes with a criminal referral, according to the Worcester Telegram and Gazette on Friday. That's last Friday. The church has since held a Mother's Day service, which included a baptism afterwards. A post to the church's Facebook page said the church has held several services with more than 10 people in attendance since a letter went out to Baker and Worcester officials on April 22nd announcing that services would resume. Casey told WBUR in an interview published on Monday that he's only received one $300 fine so far, though he said he's been told he would receive two more. In a prior Facebook post, the church shares copies of letters sent from Casey to Government Baker dated Friday and one from Gibbs and Associated Law Firm LLC, an Ohio-based law firm representing the church, with Carl Schmidt of Schmidt and Dillon counselors at law representing the church locally. Copies of the attorney's letter were sent to Worcester City Manager Edward Augustus Jr. and Andrew Lilling, U.S. Attorney for the Massachusetts District. The letter from the law firm requests that Baker designate churches essential under the state of emergency. Quote, this disfavored treatment of churches should be addressed post-haste. The letter says that religious assemblies guaranteed by the First Amendment and every state's constitution are not considered essential services, while Massachusetts categorizes liquor stores, marijuana dispensaries, convenience stores, hardware stores, and many other stores and businesses as essential, with the ability to have gatherings of more than 10 people to completely indefensible from a legal and practical viewpoint.
Yeah.
The same kind of deal here.
I do have to say, Gons, the overwhelming message I'm getting from the chat is that it's pronounced Wooster.
Oh, Wooster.
Yeah, it looks like some people actually know more than I do about places I've never been or heard of.
Worcester, Wooster. Okay. All right. Yeah. I always had the trouble with the R's.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh man, the whole 501c3 if we don't need to get into that. All right. So, yep, there we go. More and more pastors getting in trouble. I think we got more and more pastors getting in trouble.
Yeah, well, it's not just pastors.
By the way, Gons, we might need to speed things up a little bit this show because
oh yeah, look at the time.
You have an early out, so
yeah, I gotta get out. Yeah, a little bit sooner.
We might need to pick out the most essential stories to talk about here.
Okay. You know what? Let's go straight to the Harvard professor thing because it's along the same lines here. Because one of the things that's happened with the whole COVID thing is obviously homeschooling. A lot of people homeschooling and this story here, this is Deseret.com, and it's a quick one because it's a summary, so it's nice. This Harvard professor wants to ban homeschooling. She says it's authoritarian. which is like the most ironic thing, right? Why would
I know? Just hit the bullet points. The bullet points say it all. In
What's
this
the
one.
news? Bartholet said homeschooling can be problematic because it gives parents authoritarian control over their children and their learning habits, as opposed to
Oh no!
authoritarianism from their teachers and the state. Bartholet said it can expose people to white supremacy and misogyny too. What? She said, quote, the issue is, do we think that parents should have 24/7 essentially authoritarian control over their children from ages 0 to 18? I think that's dangerous. I think it's always dangerous to put powerful people in charge of the powerless and to give the powerful ones total authority. Is this satire? It's got to be satire.
No, it's not.
Oh, gosh,
It's
did
a
she really
crazy
say this?
Harvard person.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you can't have parents being in charge of their children. That's authoritarian dictatorship, and that's just not right.
She said parents should have, quote, very significant rights to raise their children with the beliefs and religious convictions that the parents hold. Okay.
I think that this article is written by a 13-year-old pretending to be a Harvard professor.
Those are quotes, though.
They're mad at their parents for for being homeschooled. They want to go back. They want to see their friends, and so this 13-year-old is posing as a Harvard professor to get back.
Well, there was a
back
Harvard
to their friends.
I'll just mention one Harvard graduate response from Carrie McDonald, who wrote in a letter to Harvard Magazine's editor, quote, aside from its biting one-sided portrayal of homeschooling families that mischaracterizes the vast majority of today's homeschoolers, it is filled with misinformation and incorrect data. So, there you go. Lies. Lies from the institutions.
That's not a Harvard professor. That's two 8-year-olds on each other's shoulders in a trench coat. Get them.
Oh, boy. All right.
Okay.
Yep. You know
There we
what?
go.
Here's the truth.
Oh, it's the New World Order. It's here.
That's right. Thanks, Adam.
Yep.
So Gons, this did not make the rounds as much as I thought it was going to. So this is a good chance for our listeners to see it if they have not seen it yet. But Fauci says we don't need to wear masks anymore. Had you heard that?
I have. Well, I didn't until I ran into this information here.
You didn't until you did. And those of you out there, we've had a lot of people saying, you guys are stealing this and that from No Agenda. Yeah, we are. They're like the dopest show. People should go listen to No Agenda once you're done with this show.
Yeah. Well, they tell people to steal their ideas. So, not steal.
Well,
of course, it's a reverence thing.
I'm not even getting into that. I'm just saying, yeah, we are unashamed that we also listen to No Agenda. Great show. Everybody should go listen to it. And Adam over there, he has a great website called nomasks.org. If you're watching live now, you can head over to nomasks.org. And because it's so hard to find, I actually was searching for it on YouTube.
Oh, you're not going to find it. It's so hard to find.
You can't find it. It shows up on no searches, no nothing. But what this is Anthony Fauci on 60 Minutes. Let's hear what he says, Gons.
Here you go.
Right now in the United States, people should not be walking around with masks.
Huh?
You're sure of it? Because people are listening really closely to this.
Right now, people should not be walking. There's no reason to be walking around with a mask. When you're in the middle of an outbreak, wearing a mask might make people feel a little bit better, and it might even block a droplet, but it's not providing the perfect protection that people think that it is. And often, there are unintended consequences. People keep fiddling with the mask and they keep touching their face.
And can you get some schmutz sort of staying inside there?
Of course. But when you think masks, you should think of healthcare providers needing them and people who are ill.
There you
go.
Right
now in the United States.
Start it over. Yeah, there you go. Dr. Anthony Fauci saying masks don't do anything, and then he
no masks.
And then he went into quarantine after this.
I know. And he said this on March 6th, 2020.
Yeah, that's right.
So there you go. There's no masks, masks, and nobody's seen this. Nobody knows about this. It's all a bunch of virtue signaling. People still wearing masks. I even tried to tell people, tried to share this. Nobody wants to hear it. They just want to wear their masks.
It's a deep fake of Anthony Fauci. How dare you make a deep fake
Ooh,
of Anthony
I
Fauci
wonder if
saying
there
we don't
has
need
to be
masks?
some 60 minutes. They couldn't get an actual interview, so they deep faked it.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop the link.
So there you
in
go.
the
Don't worry about the masks,
chat.
people. Although people just like wearing them because they don't want to get yelled at in public.
Yeah.
That's probably the reasons I would wear them. Although where I am in the world, Gons,
Yeah,
people have completely stopped caring about masks. They've completely stopped caring about social distancing. It's a free for all out there, man.
well, it's interesting because out here, I was driving around my little town here in Orange County, and there's poor areas and more affluent areas. And the poor areas, everyone's walking around, they're riding their bikes, they're hanging out with their family, they're outside. This is over the weekend. And when I went to the more affluent areas, people wearing their masks. It's like a virtue signaling if you don't wear a mask. People are yelling at each other, cursing each other out, and there was like a fight breaking. I mean, it was like craziness. So people need to stop watching the news, but also they're going to keep watching you.
Did you ever have the feeling that you were being watched?
Nice one.
Yep. This is people have talked about this one. This is HR 6666.
Oh, too many sixes. We're fine.
Except if you add them all together, you get 24, and then you add those together, you get another 6. Just a cycle
Oh
of
my
6.
gosh.
COVID-19 testing, reaching and contacting everyone, Trace Act. And let's see, let me look at the text here because I think I highlighted a couple things here in the document. And contact tracing being that phrase of just a real nice way to say, to surveil you, to watch you.
Yes. Increase surveillance.
as
if that's
necessary.
even possible at this point.
Yeah, I know. As necessary, testing individuals and providing individuals with services related to testing and quarantine at their residences. Oy, this is pretty ridiculous. This is another permissible use of funds. Applicants that agree in hiring individuals to carry out activities funded under this section to hire residents of the area or community where the activities will primarily occur with higher priority among applicants described in this paragraph given based on the percentage of individuals to be hired from such area of community. They want to hire locals to police their fellow citizens.
Yeah.
And talk about the
just another step
panopticon.
in this whole having the population police themselves type of situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing that's alarming here, the term hotspot, but also authorization of appropriations, $100 billion for fiscal year 2020. They want to pour into this. $100 billion they want to do pour into this. And they're saying such sums as may be necessary for each of fiscal year 2021 and any subsequent fiscal year during which the emergency period continues.
So they're planning for this to go on for a while.
Yeah.
And this is part of the the slow boiling pot that I've been talking about, people wondering what the future is going to look like, asking us, to give our opinion on it. And my example was similar to 9/11. The biggest thing we got after 9/11,
the Patriot Act.
Sorry, Caleb, 15-year-old Caleb, who this was before you were born at this point, which is crazy.
That is crazy.
To think about.
You're right. That is nuts.
I know.
Wow.
So Caleb, you're listening, just to let you know, after 9/11, which was a similar sort of, everything went down into national emergency. Everybody was all spooked. What?
I think it was more traumatic.
It was very traumatic.
Yeah.
I was in 7th grade, I think. And, I was probably just about Caleb's age. Maybe I was a little younger than Caleb. Anyways, so the biggest thing that we got out of this was the TSA.
Right.
I'm talking about for people on the ground, your daily life, the biggest change in your daily life. And of course, we had the Patriot Act wrapped up in that and all sorts of other fun stuff. But for your daily life, you got the TSA, which is crazy to imagine, Caleb, that back before 9/11, when you wanted to fly on a plane, there was almost zero security.
It was a lot less for sure.
Yeah, there was. I mean, you had your basic.
I think there was a metal or like
metal
a scanner
detectors.
thing. Yeah, for your
You
luggage.
had your basic metal detectors. Some security guards that were employed by the the airport, but you didn't have this whole humongous security theater, is what it's called. Because it doesn't actually protect people. It just makes you think we're protected. So the airport security theater was the biggest thing we got out of that. Anyways, my long route to my point is, I think that's what we're going to have. We're going to have something similar to that. And this points directly to that. We're going to have an institution or an organization. We're all going to have to get used to getting forced medical testing.
Yeah.
Even if that's just a group of officials coming to your door, whatever, randomly, maybe throughout the month. Maybe it'll start with a week, and then it'll go to every month, and then you'll have random testing, here and there. And I think this is going to become normal, and it's going to become. We're not going to be happy about it, kind of like the TSA. But it's just going to become a part of life, unfortunately. So
you know what
that's where this whole thing is leading as a summary for people.
Yeah, and you know what's going to happen too is similar to the justifying of any kind of government overreach. You got to have false flags. Do you remember the underwear bomber, where the guy was trying to get on the plane with allegedly he had I don't know, some kind of explosives or something in his underwear, and they're like, "Oh, the TSA stopped him." And, we were all like, yeah, good job, TSA. Good job, Patriot Act.
Right.
We did good. We stopped a terrorist from getting on a plane. But it was like, that kind of thing. I'm expecting to see similar things with this where, a church that doesn't comply, all of a sudden they get sick. And, I'm just worried that they're going to try to release some kind of, purposeful virus.
What are you,
planting.
a conspiracy theorist, Gons?
Yeah.
Come on, that's crazy.
Come on, that's crazy. I know, that's nonsense. Okay. Along the same lines here, do you want to take this one from the National Review?
No, if it's on the same topic, I'll let you do it.
Okay, so this is nationalreview.com. Bioethicist mandate COVID contact tracing app vaccinations. And this is actually, this was written by Wesley J. Smith, who is, he's more along our line of thinking than anything else. So it's going to be biased towards, folks that think like us. Most people willingly participate in the compulsory COVID-19 lockdown to flatten the curve of infection. That is, slow down the rate at which people became ill to prevent hospitals from being overwhelmed. That worked, and now steps are being taken to get back in gear. But once technocrats taste the power to dictate behavior, they don't want to give it up. Writing in Oxford's Practical Ethics, influential bioethicist Alberto Giubellini urges that governments force us to download a phone contact tracing app currently being tested in a voluntary trial on the Isle of Wight. Here's how the app works according to The Guardian. 1. A person, A, downloads the contact tracing app and enables Bluetooth. 2. The phone logs distance data with any phone that are nearby. 3. Data is anonymous for A and everybody she comes in contact with. 4. If person A falls ill, she notifies the app and she has symptoms. 5. The data gathered by her phone is uploaded to a central server. And 6. People who have been in close contact with her are sent an alert and further advice. In other words, the government and our tech company would always know where we have been and everyone with whom we've interacted. And it goes on here. It's again, mostly stuff we already know. But I don't know. Part of it is just don't download the app is one thing.
Yeah, don't download the app. But here's the problem. I mean, honestly, people are freaking out about this contact tracing thing. And all this information, all this data already exists.
It already exists,
all this information, all your location is already being recorded. When you get near somebody else's phone, you'll get a Bluetooth ping to that phone. It's recorded by all sorts of different apps that you've given. If you have any Google products, if you have YouTube on your phone, if you have anything like that, you're constantly giving away all this information already. So look, here's the thing. I'm not saying get the app. I don't care if you get it or not. I probably won't get it. It's just on principle. Don't get, I'm not going to get the tracing app. But the fact of the matter is that they already have this. And all the big tech companies, Facebook, Google, even Apple, unfortunately, recently started complying with government requests to get this information. Apple was the last holdout for these big companies. But they started giving it away as well. The government gets everything already. You don't getting one more app isn't gonna. All it does is, I think it's similar to the. I think it's similar to the mask thing. You see all those memes out there, people talking about the mask is not for your protection. It's for compliance. It's to prove that you're compliant. Yeah. And I think with this tracing app, again, they already have all this information, or they could get it simply by asking any big tech company. But I think it's more of a compliance issue to get the tracing app. Those who have the tracing app on their phone, they're on board. They're, you don't have to send the extra monitoring crew to their house because they're already giving up the info willingly.
Yeah, and somebody in the chat brought up a good point. It kind of scrolled by, but the whole HR 6666, part of it is it's justification to remove people from their homes. And there's that clip. We don't have it here, but there's a clip of someone local, a local official down here where I am. I couldn't believe it. He was saying, if there's 3 people and they share a bathroom, we're gonna have to remove them. If they've come in contact with someone with COVID.
If one person is sick in the house, we got to be able to take them out. We can't just let the whole family get it, and create that horrible thing called herd immunity. Herd immunity goes against the vaccination protocol or vaccination, religion that's sprouting up.
That's a good way to put it. The religion of vaxxers.
The Church of Vax.
The Church of Vax. And we just got a super chat from Vara Boom Lopez. Thank you for the super
very
chat.
Nice. Thank you very much for that super chat, Vara Boom.
And I'll just mention this. Yeah, this is just part of the whole thing here. And we mentioned how, having a mask, how are they going to do facial recognition? Well, according to 10, which is 10.medium.com, new facial recognition tech only needs your eyes and eyebrows. So you got to cover your you got to get the googly eyes, everybody.
Eyes and eyebrows.
What if the googly eyes becomes the way to fight against the New World Order?
Well, that's what I'm saying, man. It's kind of like the Guy Fawkes mask. I'm waiting for crowds of protesters to don their googly eyes in solidarity.
That could freak out even the top elite. They're just like, oh my gosh.
We're used to the Guy Fawkes mask. We're not too worried about that. That's been around for forever. But who are these freaks with the googly eyes? Oh no, we really need to worry now.
The 4 horsemen of the technocalypse.
Anytime you see the 4 horsemen, it's something special.
That's right. Speaking of the 4 horsemen of the technocalypse, let's get a little update on our man Elon. Speaking of which, well, let's see. How much more show do we have, Gons? We might need. We
can keep going here. I can press on here for another.
Let's do some shout-outs real quick.
Okay, all right. You want to do that now?
Let's do some shout-out. We'll make it really quick.
Okay.
Booyah! Some great numbers this morning, guys. The live stream tuning in across the board. Great numbers. I'm happy everybody's here. This timing worked out great. And Twitch is popping off. Good job, Twitch. Everybody who's watching over on Twitch. Here's the thing. Even if you're going over to Twitch and you're having trouble getting a clean signal, just leave the channel open. Just press pause, leave the channel open, and just let it. You can still be a viewer over there on Twitch, even if you're watching on YouTube. But we got 96 over in the Twitch. Good job. Let's keep that going. We got to get our average up for the month. You guys are the best. So I'm not going to talk a whole bunch about Twitch, but I'm going to give some shout outs.
Okay.
Because we got some great new followers, Gons. Are you ready?
Ready.
Got El Gonzos.
Ooh.
Welcome,
nice.
El Gonzos. Oh, and we've been waiting for this one. We knew the day would come when this person followed us, and that day is today. We got the real Elon Musk. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Elon, you're here just in time.
We're about to talk about
for our
you.
news stories. Yep. I like this one. We got Don't Vax Me, Bro. Don't Vax Me coming on the channel. Thanks, Don't Vax Me, Bro. We got Mighty Man Gamer. Mighty Man Gamer in the house. For the Son of Man. Thank you for the Son of Man. We got Katarina Rex. Katarina Rex. Got a nice cat with a tinfoil hat on as their image there. Very good. We got Hamnet50. I wonder if he's a hammer.
Oh, yeah. Ham radio.
Yeah.
We've been talking about trying to figure that out.
We've been talking and looking into that, but haven't pulled the trigger.
Yep.
If you're a hammer out there,
help us.
Send us an email.
Help us.
Yeah. CanaryCryRadio@gmail.com. Okay, we got Vizo612. We got Toxic Wasp 20.
Ooh, Toxic Wasp.
And this, I like this one too. Elon Much.
Ooh, like a clone.
Elon Much? Yeah. Oh, we got the real Elon, and then we got the Elon XL. Let's see. Jimmy's Grill? Jimmy GR21. Genius? I'm so sorry if I'm butchering people's usernames here. Mary Harima. Thank you. Mary Harima. Darkwing Dunk. I love that one.
Nice.
Oh man. LA for me, 72. La for me. Welcome. And only a couple more here. We got Hetrigent. Oh, I'm so sorry. John Roy 44 in the house. And then I think we gave shout outs to Head Up High. So there you go. Welcome to the Twitch, everybody. Ooh, we got another super chat. Thank you, everybody. So those are some new users over on the Twitch. Just so everybody knows, I'm just going to say it quick. Don't get angry at me. We're trying to get the numbers up over on Twitch because they have a lot of great tools to help us support ourselves during this time. So if you love us, if you care about us, please even just open up twitch.tv/CanaryCryRadio. Even if you don't want to, even if you don't want to watch it there, just have it open. Just have it playing. So thank you guys so much for doing that. Yeah. Funny names keep coming in.
I want to do the proper Ruck Trish 7. Thank you for your super chat. $20.
There you go.
We can go get
very nice
a coffee at Starbucks.
There you go.
I'm just kidding. Don't go to Starbucks.
I think that's all I'm going to do. So thank you guys. Oh, a couple more users just came in. In Christ 777.
Nice.
Alert Airsofter.
Excellent.
And Holden my groin.
Good stuff.
DJ Dis 23. There we go. Thank you for new users. And thank you everybody who's tuning in all over the internet. Great numbers today. Loving it. And let's just keep going, Gons, because you got to get out of here
pretty soon. Yeah.
And keep going for a little bit. We have some other supporter shout outs that we'll do a little bit later in the day.
Yes. So you want me to jingle again?
Elon, let's do it.
The four horsemen of the technocalypse.
Anytime you see the four horsemen, it's something special.
This one, we love it. Keeping an eye on our boy Elon here. He really is jerking us around, I think. Tesla, this is a tweet from Elon Musk. Tesla is restarting production today against Alameda County rules. I will be on the line with everyone else, and if anyone is arrested, I ask that it only be me. So Elon, man of the people, people, stepping down onto the line there.
Yeah. I mean,
what do you think about that?
It is interesting because he's becoming the voice of the other side, right? You got your official World Health Organization, United Nation 2030, Bill Gates ID 2020, vaccinate everybody crowd. That's kind of like your compliant crowd, right? And then you have your anti-vax, your woke crowd, and he's becoming a voice for the woke crowd, And it's kind of interesting how it's polarizing. Something has to give eventually, but I guess this is good on the surface, but we always look under the hood a little bit, and we try to investigate or at least comment on what's really going on.
And just so
here.
Everybody knows, Elon he's a complicated character. We love him as an extant story character in what we follow here.
Yeah.
Of course, people are going to think we're on his technocratic team there, which we're not, but we just love talking about the guy. We love it when he stirs the pot. We love it when his pot gets stirred. He's just so fun to watch. And yeah, here he goes, he's man of the people, standing by his workers, opening up his factory. We'll see if he actually gets arrested. I think he wants to get arrested, and I think we all want him to get arrested. It would just be the perfect way to sort of come out of lockdown, I think.
Well, if he gets a mortal head wound, then we really start paying attention.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we'll know.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, he gets hit over the head with a baton or a police beanbag or something as they're trying to break up the factory.
Because he was on Joe Rogan talking about the Neuralink and people with brain damage, and he said, "Hey, I'm going to do it." He's not going to be the first one. He's like, "Let's make sure it works first." But yeah, the whole logic was, people with brain damage, people with certain ailments, we're going to start with them, and then eventually it's going to become an inevitable thing because all of us are going to get old, and we're going to. If you want to remember your children, Basil, you're going to have to link up to his neural lace, and that's kind of the pitch, so to speak. So we just got to keep an eye on it because that would be a very.
I bet he could have his whole factory put on defense mode. That if anybody has a defense mode for the robots in their factory, it's Elon. So he might just have an army of robots protect him from whatever, maybe being arrested. I guess that's what he's talking about.
We got 110 people on Twitch. That's insane. I think that's like the most we've ever had on Twitch.
We're doing great, man. The numbers are popping up all over the place. I'm loving this. Thanks, everybody, for being here.
All right.
I guess earlier in the day is better than whatever we were doing before. Okay.
You got
4 Horsemen
more?
again, Gons. Hit us.
The 4 Horsemen of the Technocalypse.
Anytime you see the 4 Horsemen, it's something special.
GeekWire.com. Federal lawmakers press Bezos on Amazon's firing of employee activists as antitrust probe looms. This is from May 7th, so it's a few days old here. 9 Senate Democrats asked Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos to explain the rationale for firing 4 employees who spoke out about the company's workplace safety policies in a letter sent to the executive this last Wednesday. The lawmakers added their voices to a chorus of criticism over Amazon's response to the coronavirus crisis and decided to fire the employee activists. And, I mean, we don't have to get too much into the details here. Oh, thank you, Pop-Up. The big picture, Amazon is waging war against the pandemic on 2 fronts, seemingly overnight. Amazon became a lifeline for thousands of people sheltering at home around the world. Demand for Amazon products and services surged, compelling the company to hire an additional 175,000 workers to keep up. Amazon is managing customer demand by struggling to contain COVID-19 outbreaks in its warehouses, creating a logistical and PR nightmare for the company. The virus has broken out in more than 130 warehouses, according to internal employee counts and local news reports. Amazon has not disclosed the number of employees or warehouses with the virus. At least 3 Amazon workers have died from COVID-19, according to the letter senators sent to Bezos this week. So blood on his hands.
Yeah, did you see that video he did of him going into a Walmart warehouse and a Whole Foods and kind of walking around and, one of those PR videos of him like, I know we're still open, but we're doing okay. Look at all these precautions we're taking. We love our minimum wage workers.
It's always bad when those guys try to do PR stuff like that. Was he in a bubble? Was he
see, and the bad part about it is, here's the thing. Bezos has this style. You can see it in that picture there. He's always got his jeans on, his Steve Jobs jeans, and he's always got a button-up shirt tucked in. And I don't know what it is about him. I think like the bald head also kind of works into it. He just kind of looks smug whenever he looks smug. He is smug. But when he has this video of him walking around the warehouse with a mask on, waving to his employees. He goes into a Whole Foods, the company that he aggressively took over and started screwing up ever since he took it over. It just looks bad. I don't know, man. He's just got that air of like, yes, I own you. Look at my subjects. Look how safe they are. Look how well they listen by wearing their masks and keeping away from each other. You don't want the workers getting too close to each other, or else you're going to have problems and they'll unionize. This is a great opportunity to keep them away for that.
If he didn't want to look like a villain, he would let this, just the bald head and the side of the head grow hair, But you get the bald head look and you get the laughter.
Yeah, the laughter doesn't help.
Yeah. Good thing I found that. That's a good one. That's a good clip we had.
Yeah. So Bezos has some trouble because he fired some activist workers who are activisting. And long story short, he's actually looking at a trust probe. It's just a probe. They're just looking at him to see if they need to activate some antitrust laws. And him firing activist workers just makes it look even more, sinister. That old timey, break up the unions, don't let the workers organize type of thing. Which, whatever. I'm not making a comment about unions, but he does. He is very good at continuing his sort of evil villain, CEO look. So good job, Bezos.
Somebody in the chat, Raf G, saying that we don't know what to criticize, so you bully their appearance. No, we're not bullying their appearance. It's just if you're gonna do a PR thing, it's just
Should we go down the list of things to criticize Bezos about?
I mean, yeah, there's plenty. It's just the perception.
I think we have a Bezos shill on our hands.
Oh, maybe, yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
Bezos bot.
Where is Bezos? I have not seen the real Jeff
on Twitch.
Sorry, Bezos #1, not the clone, is not watching here today. I think. Bezos #1, not the clone. If you're watching, put something in the chat so I can know you're here.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah. Okay.
By the way, he was the one with the robot dog walking around too 2 years ago, and now they're deployed in other countries, telling people to stay far away because COVID. So.
Yeah, no Bezos shills allowed. Actually, yes, Bezos shills allowed. Everybody, Bezos, send all your shills. Okay,
here we go.
Let's move on. What do you think?
Space. Wanna go to space?
This is I guess this is a little bit older of a story, but I didn't know about it. This is Wired.com. Inside spin launch, the space industry's best kept secret, and. Wow. Yeah, so the company's building a massive centrifuge to accelerate rockets and send them screaming into space. It's a giant slingshot.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and
why?
I don't know. To try to break through the firmament. So, the thing with this whole space thing, I know there's half the people out there, especially that listen to our show, that probably think that space is fake, which is fine. I'm okay with that. I know there's a lot of propaganda surrounding it.
I haven't seen it myself.
The outer space, yeah, exactly. I haven't been high enough to tell you myself, so I'll leave it there. But also, I've talked over the years about the secret space program, and so it's kind of funny how they're trying to co-opt some of the words like secret and space and trying to put it together in an article. Last summer, a secretive space company took up residence in a massive warehouse in a sun-soaked industrial neighborhood that surrounds Long Beach Airport. Reflections of turboprop planes flit across the building's mirrored panes. Across the street, a retro McDonnell Douglas sign perches above the aerospace's giant former factory, and just around the corner, Virgin Orbit is developing air-launched rockets. It's a fitting headquarters for Spin Launch, a company breathing new life into the decades-old idea of using giant mechanical slings to hurl rockets into orbit. The man behind this audacious plan is the serial entrepreneur Jonathan Yaneh. For years, he ran Spin Launch out of a former microprocessor plant in Silicon Valley, down the road from Google. Now the company is ready to open a proper rocket factory where it will churn out launch vehicles and, if all goes well, take its first step into the cosmos. And it says, when I visited this past fall, Spin Launch employees were still unpacking from the move. As we walked among the giant sheets of steel, Yanni explained how his launcher will work. A centrifuge large enough to contain a football field will whip a rocket around in circles for roughly an hour, its speed steadily ramping up to more than 5,000 miles per hour. The vehicle and its payload, up to 200 pounds worth of satellite, will experience force that, at their peak, will be 10,000 times stronger than gravity. Once it's spinning at launch speed, the centrifuge will release the rocket and send it screaming into the stratosphere. At the threshold of the cosmos, it will fire its engines for the final nudge.
Threshold of the cosmos.
The firmament. It will fire its engine for a final nudge into orbit. There you go.
Okay.
I mean, I won't go any further with that, but that's, I mean, cool, but like, really?
I mean, I don't know, man. I'm fine with it if it works.
They knew the oil. Yeah.
I mean, I'm no slingshot scientist, but I know that the idea of sending things into space with a slingshot is at least as old as I am, because I think I had that idea when I was like 4. But that's cool. I mean, we'll see. The immediate thing, the immediate vision that I have in my head is, you don't get that the release timing just perfectly, and then you just launch the rocket straight into the ground. We've all seen that video on YouTube of the girl who's launching a watermelon on this gigantic slingshot, and she does a bad job somehow, mysteriously, and the watermelon comes crashing back into her face. I just pray that there's no astronauts in the ship when
or like
happens.
Airplanes or something up there, in the path.
Somebody made a good point, though. Slingshots, ask Goliath, Gons. We shouldn't be so quick to put it down.
Well, I'm not putting it down. I'm just saying, I guess it's better than combustible whatever, just trying to power our way up there. But, I mean, yeah.
It's better for the Earth. Rockets, just so much global warming because of the rockets. We need a green energy to send that rocket up there.
Yeah. Okay.
Greta got mad. Greta got mad.
Use a slingshot. Okay.
Maybe it was Greta's idea.
Maybe. Yeah.
That would make a lot more sense than a grown human being thinking this would work.
That's true.
All right. That's enough bullying. Enough bullying of slingshots and Greta for today.
Yeah, we got one more space update, though.
Space.
Okay.
Space. Wanna go to space?
Oh, this one was great. This is military.com. Here it is, folks. The moment we've all been waiting for. Military.com. Headline reads, Space Force has launched its first recruiting commercial. Strap on in, folks, and prepare to get recruited.
Are we doing the video?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Here we go. Come on, video, play. Play.
Some people look to the stars and ask, what if? Our job is to have an answer. We have to imagine what will be imagined. Plan for what's possible while it's still impossible. Maybe you weren't put here just to ask the questions. Maybe you were put here to be the answer. Maybe your purpose on this planet isn't on this planet.
Illuminatus!
Oh, are you pumped up, Gons? Are you pumped to join the Space Force? I'm not joking. If I wasn't so old now, I probably would join the Space Force.
Great. And they'd brainwash you. They'd
Can we do it? Is there a link for an application?
I don't know. You're going to do it online or while we're on
I got to
here?
go to... Yeah, how do I go to my Space Force recruitment center? That's what I need to find here. Saw the video. I'm sold. Give me a recruitment center. I'm looking here. There's no way. There's no way to know how to join the Space Force.
Interesting about
I think
joining.
They're just teasing us.
Yeah, they're teasing us, but also we know that we've had allegedly whatever this means, non-terrestrial officers for some time. And I'll just reference this article from Wired.com from back in 2006. UFO hacker tells what he found, and his name was Gary McKinnon, and he hacked, it says NASA website, I thought it was more of a government thing he hacked, but nevertheless, he allegedly hacked it between February 2001 and March 2002. Interesting timing. And one of the things he found was, I thought I highlighted it. There it is. I also got access to Excel spreadsheets. One was titled Non-Terrestrial Officers. It contained names and ranks of U.S. Air Force personnel who are not registered anywhere else. It also contained information about ship-to-ship transfers, but I've never seen the names of these ships noted anywhere else. So There you go. They've been at this for a long time, but maybe they're, because of Trump, it's the cat's out of the bag. And so now
who knows? I mean, it's all part of the plan. You can only keep a secret for so long before it starts getting out there. So maybe
Plus, Trump's going to mine the moon. Remember with his Artemis project or whatever?
Oh, dude, they are all lined up for full-on space. Space access for approved members of the Space Force. Space Force, much like how our current military, oftentimes is relegated to guarding poppy fields and, oil rigs in the Middle East.
Yep.
Space Force, I have a feeling their main job is to be guarding the moon mining operations from the wormicorns up there.
Yep. That's a good old reference to some old
reference.
Canary Cry Radio.
We had some old school listeners chatting earlier, talking about the Apocalypse Update song.
Wow. Yeah, we got that somewhere. I don't know if I can pull it up.
I know. We have old school listeners tuning in here, so they'll remember Wormicorns from the Moon episode there.
Yeah.
Okay. So there you go. You can join. Well, I don't know if you can. They're at least starting the PR for joining Space Force, and I'm pumped. I feel like my mission is not here on Earth.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to try to use, because you know how how religiousized, I guess, military. They've always used, especially for Christians, they've used certain passages and stuff to justify war and things like that. I wonder if they're going to do that for the Space Force. Like, we are not of this world, so you should join Space Force as a Christian, because remember, you're not of this world.
Yeah. Only good patriots. Oh yeah, tardigrades. Incarnate Unlimited in the chat is comparing wormicorns to tardigrades, which makes total sense. I can't believe I've never made that connection.
That's right. Yeah.
So, Guns, you want to take a second, give some shout outs to people who support the show?
Yes, I do.
Let's do it.
We
got supporters of the show. Thank you guys so much. Remember that, we don't do ads, not because we couldn't. We get lots of offers, but, we just don't believe in selling your attention. You give us your attention because you trust and whatever the reason you do. Maybe you love us. Maybe you hate us. Maybe you trust us. Maybe you're debunking us live. Whatever the case may be, you're here, and we appreciate that. And we think that selling that attention for our own personal gain is not that cool. But we have a Patreon, patreon.com/CCNT. And we got PayPal and canarycryradio.com/support is another great way to support us. And we want to give some shout outs to people who are supporting us.
canarycryradio.com/support.
Yes, and so we have our Patreon, but we also have our PayPal. We got some. I'm only going to mention the people that are new, recurring supporters, because we got a few people here that recurring. They're recurring people. So Tristan, thank you, Tristan, for becoming a new supporter on PayPal. And also, we got one-time gifts from Jason. So thank you,
Thanks, Jason.
We got a one-time, I think we might have given this guy a shout-out already, but we'll do it again. Benjamin, thank you, Benjamin.
Thanks, Benjamin.
And we also had a recurring a new supporter last week from Jeff. So, Jeff, we're going to keep the last names anonymous for you guys, just so it's not too too intense.
And we're
but
going
there you
to
go.
be, if you are a supporter on patreon.com/CCNT, we thank you very, very much. I'm going to check, see if there's any new ones since last show. I don't think there was, but we're going to be sending out some messages to you if you're a supporter with some fun stuff and some requests from you. So we got some big plans. So if you want to be in on those big plans, head to patreon.com/CCNT and you can sign up to support the show because that's the only way we keep going. Gons and I are your essential employees. We got nothing else going on, folks. So please pitch in, help keep the show going. If you find any value in the show, whether you've watched one live stream or 100 live streams or whatever you've watched, a lot of people have been listening for years. We've been doing this for almost a decade. So if you feel the Lord pulling on your heartstrings to help keep this going and help support Gons and I during this whole situation, head to patreon.com/CCNT for Canary Cry News Talk. You got fun rewards and bonus episodes waiting there for you. Or if you don't like Patreon, we get it. You can go to canarycryradio.com/support. We got PayPal. We got all sorts of fun stuff. Cryptocurrency, however you want to support the show. We appreciate that very much. Sorry, got a cough there. Okay, we're just going to keep that light. We're going to keep all the announcements light today, folks, so you're welcome.
All right. I think we're out of stories, out of time.
Yeah, we're going to be winding down the show here. We had some drone stuff to talk about, but Gons, you got to get out of here. You have baby stuff you got to take care of.
Baby stuff.
So, thanks, everybody, for tuning in. This means a whole bunch. Thank you, everybody who went over to Twitch and watched on Twitch. Oh, my gosh. Twitch, thank you guys so much for tuning in over there. That's going to help us get those numbers up and activate all our cool Twitch stuff. And here's the thing, folks. We're going to need you to make sure to tune in again because we're going to be doing 2 more shows this week. Lord willing and the creek don't rise. We're going to be doing one on Wednesday and one on Friday. Now, we usually do so sometime between the times of noon and 5 Pacific Standard Time. I've gotten plenty more messages from people wishing that we had a schedule. I think that there's a way we can post the schedule on Twitch, which is what I'm going to be looking into. But just everybody who's listening, tell your friends. We usually are doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday, sometime between noon and 5. However, we have real life stuff that often gets in the way of that. So, if we miss a show, we'll make up for it hopefully the next day. But just keep tuning in. You can get the messages and stuff if you follow us on Facebook. We're always putting out the Facebook alerts. Well, I am. So there you go. But as soon as I can get a more official scheduling, place, I think we can just have it up on our Twitch when we're not streaming. So that'll be a good place to go check out the schedule, and we'll keep you updated. Give me some time to figure that out, though. So there you go, folks. Lord willing and the creek don't rise. We'll be back up tomorrow. Here's the thing. Y'all got friends and family and other people, loved ones. Maybe you don't love them. Maybe they annoy you and they're getting their news from the mainstream or, God forbid, their Facebook walls. Here's what you got to do. Step 1, you walk right up to them. Step 2, grab them by the cage and shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right, folks. You gotta grab them by the cage and shake it. Rattle some cages out there. Let people know about the show. Send them an episode. And remember, we don't just live stream. We don't just live on YouTube and Facebook and all those places. We got years, almost a decade of podcasts that you can find on our podcast pages at iTunes and Stitcher and Spotify. Just search Canary Cry Radio, or remember this, a lot of people don't know this, you search Canary Cry News Talk, 2 separate shows. So you can get both of those shows, Canary Cry Radio and Canary Cry News Talk. Find it on your iTunes and Stitcher and Spotify, all those places. Tons of material. Nice. Tons of material for you guys to find. And I noticed that the podcast downloads have decreased quite a bit. Less people listening to the podcast. So go do that.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else, Gons?
Nope. I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, all together now, think outside the cage.
Shake things up, shake things up. I wanna shake things up, shake things up. Leave the bird alone. I wanna stir up some controversy. I wanna rattle a few cages. I wanna rattle a few cages. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. A crusader for the little guy. Little guy. Little guy. Well, we'll see about that.
Whatever, Illuminati.